tab chaak gireban ka maza hai dil nala. So like your collar is torn asunder. The fun of having your collar torn asunder is when तब चाक गिरेबां का मजा है दिल नाला जब एक नफस उलझा हुआ हर तार में आवे. The share kind of reminds me of passion. It's like just wailing about something and making a show of it is not enough. You really should be so hard and deep into it that every breath of yours which is stuck should come into every single thread of your torn collar.
Pretty much within about 6 months of starting the business, the entire industry collapsed. That was the internet first web 1.0 collapse or bust that we saw in the year 2000. So here we were with a full team, people that were hired, some money in the bank, with very good plans, but there was no possibility of continuing on that plan. So we had to really go back to the drawing board. We decided not to throw in the towel. I think that itself was an important motivator that we decided we had to make it work and we have to find another answer for the business that we set out to start. That led to the setup of the BPO company, Customer Asset, and the rest is history.
I'm giving an example. Whatever email I'll get from the team, I will forward it back to the entire team. What's happening is that's actually leading to complete transparency within the team.
So, I talked about every voice matters. What I ensure is when I'm in a meeting, I'm technology off. No phones, no laptops. You get 100% of my eye contact, 100% of my listening. It's a simple thing, but so few leaders do it.
Everybody can manage the superstars. Or most of the time, superstars in a team don't even really need to be managed all that much. Because take any team of 10 people, 10, 100, 1,000. I think the largest number of people will be average performers. Of course, there'll be a few superstars, and getting the most out of your superstars is also important, but the largest number will be average performers. And as a leader, what you manage to get average performers to do really actually defines your output and outcomes.
So one thing that's always helped me is to just go away in a mode of silence and solitude to sort of recover. And not that I don't enjoy people, but it just sort of helps settle everything. So finding space for that time which is solitary, which is my time, which is not impinged by any kind of distraction, it just helps every day. It's like a reset and helps you sort of reflect a little bit.
The word career was not of any value to me. I'm not saying this with any bravado, but it was actually founded on despair. The despair was that all the knowledge which I had gathered suddenly turned into dust because there was something which I realized I need to know the most and I knew the least. And that is, who am I? What am I? What are we and what is this universe we are living in? Yeah, it wasn't a physics question. It was a question which had no subject. So it's psychology, sociology, history, biology, medicine, whatever. Therefore, I was beset with despair. What do I do with myself?
Something that we have realized as a company is while we have been delivering dramatic performance, 3M in India, which is what I lead, has been recognized as a Star Multinational Company of the Year, Forbes Super 50, Outlook Outperformers, all of those good things. We've realized in driving performance, we are not necessarily driving happiness. So it's an interesting concept because, nowhere in my performance scorecard are they asking, have you driven happiness? How do you create happiness? You create happiness by unlocking purpose in the organization. You create happiness by recognizing people. And you create happiness by truly smiling and stopping and generating positive energy in the organization. And a happy organization achieves just absolutely unimaginable heights.
3 attributes which help me resurrect my life completely are: number 1, resilience, of course. Number 2, happiness. And I say I'm the happiest person I have ever met in my life. And the third thing is a network of support. A huge number of people who have supported me through this entire journey.
That's a very interesting question. It is something in me. I always strive for perfection, and sometimes you have to let go at 80% and not strive for 100%. So whenever something is done, instead of appreciating at 80%, I'm always looking at
that 20% that needs to be done. And only I reflect back to realize I should have appreciated that 80%. So that is something that naturally thanking people and appreciating on the spot, it does not come naturally to me because I'm always looking at what next. And hence, very consciously in my calendar, I actually set time aside with myself and some key members of my team to think of who all are the people I should have appreciated this week or this month, who all I should have sent a thank you message and why. And I actually keep adding that to my list, and I sit down once in a month and I send out those thank you messages. And every time I send those thank you messages out, the response you get back is something which always tells me, thank God I did that. And I mean it.
I never took myself very seriously. I took the entire idea of whatever I was doing as a game. So I'm just playing a game. Success and failure was outcomes, but you have to put in the best effort and then deal with the success or failure. That allowed me to focus on what I was doing rather than worry of what will happen. Over a period of time, I realized that one of the best ways you can deliver returns is when you are not bothered about the outcome.
First is dream big. Have a goal which even you don't know you're going to fulfill, but have a bigger dream than helping 10 people and 20 people, creating a field. And whenever I've dreamt of that, I have been able to make my dream come true. But it's always with the help of others. You seek the best minds, not only to work with you, but take guidance from.
It's very important for a leader to be able to not jump into and try and solve every problem or every crisis. Not a good way to develop people around you. You should have the patience and the trust to let your team make mistakes or do things and observe and give feedback, but let them do it and develop their own leadership style. If they keep relying on you to solve a lot of the problems, you will create a very hierarchical organization where you are the most valuable person, but you don't build an institution, you don't build people, you don't build the quality you need.
I think the big mistake we make is to basically hand over a problem and almost tell the person this is how you should solve it. Whereas it should be the other way around. You should hand over a problem and say, please solve it and then come to me. It gives them a tremendous sense of achievement. And it also gives them a tremendous sense of self-confidence when they solve problems.
What's the moral of the story? It doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a deer. When you get up in the morning, you need to be running. So it doesn't matter whether you're a serial entrepreneur. It doesn't matter whether you're a startup guy, whether you're a student, whether you're a young executive who is just starting up a career, or a manager or a chief executive. When you get up in the morning, you need to be running. All the best to all of you.